friends, and welcome to a very special video version of the Grounded blog this month. Like many of you, I've been spending an inordinate amount of time trapped inside my home. Don't get me wrong, I love Netflix, I love my jigsaw puzzles, I love hanging out with my dogs, my cat, my husband, incessantly scrolling through the news. But there's literally only so much of that a human being can physically, emotionally, and mentally handle before going absolutely stir crazy. I'd like to take this opportunity to share some of my favorite green reads with you during this time of quarantine. Guaranteed way more fun than watching the news. You might learn something, and hey, we're not talking about how crappy the weather is outside. It's trying to snow right this moment. Anything to get your mind off of the current situation, right? So I am coming to you live-ish from my living room and my favorite bookcase here. So just want to take a moment to share some of my absolute all-time favorite conservation, nature, natural resources, and gardening books with you. So let's take it away to the bookcase. This is the good shelf. All right, all my favorites live on here. I am going to get started with one of my favorite conservation and nature writers, Dr. David Suzuki. If you have not heard of him, please give him a Google. He's a wonderful, wonderful lifelong activist and is passionate about connecting folks with nature. We are not aside from nature, we are a part of it. So right here is the David Suzuki Reader. This is one of my favorites of his essays, shorter pieces. Also, let's see, Sacred Balance, my favorite one. This is really a deeper dive into reconnecting with nature and understanding our place in the biosphere and how we don't need to be conquerors, but we need to be collaborators in nature. All right, let's see. Okay, this is it. That's the number one book of all time for Jaime. Sand County Almanac by Aldo Leopold. It's my Bible, I'll be honest. This book, don't let the new version fool you. Santa finally brought me a new copy because mine was so ratty and destroyed from reading it about 8,000 times and taking it outside with me all the time. If you have not had a chance to read this book or any of Leopold's writings, please do. He is truly one of the fathers of conservation, the land ethic, and how our use of natural resources in the land doesn't have to be a totally awful thing. We can be great stewards of the land. All right, let's see. What else do we have fun on here? Okay. Oh, man. Oh, all right. Walden by Henry David Thoreau. This particular copy has the added bonus of civil disobedience in the back. Definitely worth a read, but wonderful, wonderful contemplations on time spent in nature. Okay, let's see. I mean, there's a ton of other great ones there, but, okay, those would be my number ones there. Oh, speaking of, my God, it's snowing out and I just want it to be spring, we're going to hop down to the garden shelf. As many of you know, in my former life, I was a nursery and landscaping worker. So spend a lot of time diving into these books. For those of you who are looking for something to really sink your teeth into, okay, these two books here, Western Garden Book and the Durr Manual of Landscape Plants, also Bibles. Everything you'd ever need to know about trees, everything you ever need to know about every other thing. Okay, the way more fun books. Carrots Love Tomatoes. Collaboration even works in the garden, I promise. So this is all about the symbiotic relationships that certain plants have. They help each other out. They grow better when they're with their buddies. So this is a fun book if you are interested in companion planting when you're planting your garden for this year. Along with that, Sleeping with the Sunflower, a wonderful collection of folklore, old wives' tales, but a lot of it's actually true. Again, a lot of companion planting stuff in here too, but just old time, old school gardening facts and how you can incorporate kind of the older school of thought into your gardening this year. And speaking of, if you want to get way out there, astrological gardening, not just lunar, astrology. So, like if today Mars is in the 5th house of Pisces, don't plant potatoes, for instance. If you really want to dive deep into this, lunar planting is a really cool thing that I'm actually really into. You can get the Ed Hume lunar cycle book from your seed rack at your local store. But if you want to take it a step further and get really, really into not just moon signs, but phases and astrology, this is the jam for you. Okay, those are all my favorite ones. Of course, all of these are fabulous. All of them. Love them all. We're going to hop up to taller rack. So still my life. I have my bachelor's of science in natural resource economics and management. So half economics, half environmental science. Mostly I'm an econ nerd. So for those of you who like maybe a little bit more data-driven content, this is an outdated version, but oh man, if you love statistics, and you love sustainable development, economics, policies, this is your jam right here. I don't know how many of you would actually like that, but there it is. Also, let's see. Oh, great ones. Okay. If you haven't read this, Jared Diamond's Guns, Germs, and Steel, this might be a really enlightening or terrifying look at how weaponry and, plagues have impacted human civilization over the last hundreds, thousands of years. Really, really interesting and a fun read. Okay, and let's see. Oh, the last fun one on the shelf. Also, a great classic if you want to learn about literally everything. Bill Bryson's A Short History of Nearly Everything, and it really is. From everything you would ever want to know, from biological sciences to physics to planetary science to philosophy. And speaking of philosophy, okay, better share some of those. Deep ecology, that's a pretty intense one, as far as if you want to really dive into deep ecology. Also, for those of you wanting to get into the psychology of things, Currents in Western Environmental Thought. This covers everything from the ecofeminism of the 60s to environmental and animal ethics. This is it's a heavy, heavy dive. But who knows? We might be stuck here in the house for a while, so you might be able to get through it by the end of the quarantine. So that's just a selection of some of my favorite books that are on my bookshelf. And I would love to know what's on your bookshelf that inspires you, that connects you with nature, even when we can't be outside doing it. If you want to pop those in the comment section down below at the bottom of the blog, I would love to see it. And if you are interested in any of these titles that I highlighted here today, let me know. I will put them in like a Ziploc bag and just tuck them on your porch if you're here in Moscow. Feel free to borrow them, check them out. Let's see. If for any reason you want to purchase these books, I'm going to put links down below from Amazon. A lot of them are available on Kindle, but I'll put those down below this video. And I'm also including some of my favorite Facebook pages and groups that I follow that are nature themed and, if nothing else, that make you smile and they'll make you laugh. So we all need a little bit more of that today. I'm so sorry I can't be with you in person to share these books, but until we can do that, please be well, take good care of yourself, and be sure to include some time to read, to look inside, and to know how absolutely loved you are. All of us at the Land Trust are so grateful for you, and we miss you. And until we can meet again, happy reading.